Okay, I'm Dr. Moutaz from the International Sharia Research Academy for Islamic Finance, known as ISRA in Malaysia. And inshallah, I will be sharing my thoughts. Let me share the presentation. Okay. So inshallah, I will share my thoughts on the blockchain technology for Zakat institutions, the theory and practices. I will try to spot some lights on ISRA blockchain project, especially Zakat tech part of it, inshallah. And also I will share some my views basically on the way forward. What are the challenges? What are the potential that blockchain can bring also to Zakat? But before this, let me express my gratitude and thanks for the organizing committee and for Icons for the conference, everyone behind this, because for selecting also a very timely needed topic, that is the use of technology for Zakat, and also for having me, inviting me to share my thoughts on this session. Okay, without further ado, let me go directly to the presentation. Okay, I will talk firstly on the blockchain technology in general. This will be my agenda. Then I will share on the challenges faced by the Islamic social finance institutions, especially the Waqf and Zakat. And then I will try to visualize how blockchain can help in addressing the challenges that we are facing. And then I will spot some lights on ISRA Zakat Tech blockchain project, and then I will have some concluding remarks. So what is blockchain and why we need blockchain? Of course, I'm not going into all details because I think that topic was really a hot topic for the last few years, and almost everyone is familiar with that concept. But I will be sharing let's just focus on the few, let's say, angle of blockchain, the characteristic of blockchain that can bring benefit. So first of all, we have, blockchain it's a distributed ledger technology. We need to understand this. Pre-blockchain, we have centralized systems. So we always have someone in the middle. We always need to trust someone with the data. With the blockchain, we don't need this. And this idea brings us a lot of security and the trust. So having decentralized system. And the second angle of blockchain, it's a database of a growing list of time-stamped transactional records. I will focus on this time-stamped transactional records. So we can capture whatever data at online at minute by minute, and we record this in a permanent way. So every time we capture a data, it's saved in a block. Each block is linked with the next block, etc., etc. So no one can alter the historical data. This is the key in a blockchain. So we have permanent data. In a normal database, we have always the option of delete, edit option. The admin always can delete a record as it is never happened. In blockchain, we don't have this option. Neither the admin nor no one can really delete anything on the blockchain. So it's a permanent data once it's verified, of course, and recorded. So this brings us a traceability and immutability. So then the third angle of blockchain, that records are linked using cryptography. And the beauty of cryptography that we can have have transparency, but yet we can protect privacy. So simply put, every data is encrypted. Everyone has a copy of the data, but this does not mean necessarily that they can read the content of this data. So we can, by design, up to what kind of information they can really see and what kind of information will be encrypted. So I think these are the fundamental of blockchain. This is why I link what is blockchain with why blockchain. These are really the points that can bring benefits to Zakat institutions or other institutions that may have blockchain applications. So let's move after this to what we have. What are the challenges that we are facing in the Zakat and Waqf institutions in particular? So what we have usually, we have the Zakat and Waqf institution right in the middle. We channel the funds from the payers to the beneficiaries. And because we have a macro perspective at the Zakat institution, we can see, we can have a policies, we can efficiently basically discover to whom is better to give the money. This is the idea of having Zakat institution. But we have also in the middle usually agents to implement, to participate, especially if it's like big institutions, big Zakat institution. So each one of these parties involved, they inquire cost, operational cost. So, and also each one of them, usually they are using different systems, each one using its own system, his own system. So we need also to have a governance structure to really ensure that there is no manipulation, no issue is happening. So there is also a cost for this governance structure, and we have always a cost also. A possibility of hacking or manipulation or even theft during this process. So since this is the situation, so we have a multi-systems, we have transactions that cannot be traced, and we have centralized systems. So technically the data always entrusted with someone in each block. So in the payers, the agents, the current institution, each one of these elements, each party, they have their own system and they entrust the data with someone. So we have always a technical risk, a manipulation, and a risk of manipulation or hacking. So we have also high governance costs. So these are the challenges or the issues that we may face at Zakat administration that blockchain may help. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Doctor.
Oh, does it show me that? Sorry. Okay. Sorry for this technical. Okay. Okay. So we have high governance cost. So why blockchain solution? So what we are trying to do with the blockchain solution, we are trying to break these walls. We are trying to bring everyone to work use a same single, let's say, single source of truth, as we say. So we need to have a one source of truth, one point, one database, one system that can everyone trust and depend on. So everyone, all parties involved, they can depend on this one single source of truth. So let's try to visualize the solution based on this. So in this solution, what we will have, everyone shall be able to connect to this platform, let's say, and we can use this, the smart contracts. Smart contracts is the way to codify any conditions and to make it automatically applied. This is part of the beauty of a blockchain. So in a blockchain, what we can have some pre-programmed conditions to be respected in operation. So this is very important in Waqf, for instance, because the Waqf have certain conditions that he need to be respected through the life of the Waqf. But also it's important in Zakat, because the Zakat management, for example, they set the parameters to have a percentage for each one of type of the beneficiaries. We know that in Zakat, we have the 8 asnaf, right? So we have a categories for the recipients, the beneficiaries. The management then may say, okay, for this year, we need to have a 20% or 30% on the miskin, or 40% on the poor people, for example. They may have a certain target to reach 10% of the donations shall be channeled to the orphans, for example. So these kind of conditions, they can be pre-programmed using the blockchain, and then they cannot be broken. Because if at operation these rules are broken, then everyone will know, because we are depending on one source of the truth. So this is the idea of why we or how we can benefit from blockchain. So the next thing is to visualize how we can move into this system. We know that, of course, at future, we may have everyone works in a digital, depends on the digital platforms, and they do all transactions digitally online. But until today, we still have people prefer, you can say, a traditional. They may not really use the technology. They may not have really smartphones, or in some remote areas, though the usage of smartphones is really increasing and growing at very fast pace. So since we have these limitations, since we have also softwares that we are used to use, each Zakat institution or each party involved in the Zakat, they may have their own softwares. So we need to figure a way how we can move into the blockchain without disturbing the world. So the idea that we have at the ISRA blockchain, Zakat blockchain, that we create an API layer, put it simply, is a way to connect the traditional systems to the blockchain platform. And this is a way that it could be also not only a transitional period. It could be that sometimes you may decide that certain part of the operation need to be out of the blockchain. So for example, an agent, he can go collect the money. All the transactions are not really recorded on the blockchain until he goes back to the branch, and the branch verify everything. And then the data is transferred or verified and registered on the blockchain system or platform. In this way, we can have some kind of flexibility also to have some kind of, you can say, a co-integration between the softwares that we are using, the system that we are depending today, and the future system or the blockchain system that we may create. And of course, very important point here to be considered always, that what kind of data you need to encrypt. For example, the personal IDs, names of the recipients. You may hide all of this information, encrypt it, and then only a certain parties are allowed to decrypt this information. So based on this visualization, we came at ISRA of an idea of developing an ISRA blockchain platform for Islamic finance. And for this, we collaborated with the developers. We got brother Ismail. He's a founder of Ledger X, sorry. And with the team of developers, we are trying to develop a blockchain solution that can work in many aspects. Among them is the Zakat. So for Zakat, we set few principles, and we moved from these principles. First principle, that we will have a blockchain as a service. So instead of developing a software that you can buy, or a software that you can directly use as an individual, what we are aiming to is to develop a back-end solution, blockchain platform that Zakat institutions or even individuals, maybe in the future, they can later on use. But in idea that it's a back-end solution, it's a platform that Zakat institutions or Zakat authorities can use, can benefit, and they might be some fees, but to cover the cost, but it's only a fees with the transaction, with the usage. So you don't inquire any administration cost at the beginning, or you don't buy really the system. And then we decided to have it a federated blockchain with endorsement policies. In blockchain, we have many types of blockchain. We have public blockchain, we have private blockchain, and we have federated blockchain in between. We choose to have a federated blockchain where the host institution, the Zakat institution which is willing to adopt our solution, they can decide who will be trusted to verify the data, basically. So they can choose parties within their institution or outside the institution to have a full copy of the data. You can say simply to be an admin role, to have an admin role. Other people, they don't really need to be a full nodes. And we choose endorsement policies, so we don't involve any cryptocurrencies in our solution. Endorsement policy, cryptocurrency is still debatable among the Sharia scholars. So this is why we choose not really to go into the cryptocurrency. And also there are a lot of legal issues still with this cryptocurrency. So we choose in our blockchain solution not to have cryptocurrency involvement at all. And we have endorsement policies where the validation process is depending on a pre-selection of people who do the verification process. So then, of course, by definition, it shall be Sharia compliance, all processes, developments, whatever, workflow shall be Sharia compliance. And we will have Sharia compliance verification. And also we have multi-level organization based Hyperledger. This is to have, for example, if two Zakat institutions or Zakat authorities in a certain countries decided to participate in the platform, they don't really necessarily share the data with each others. We got this privacy walls between these data. So each institution will have its own data. They may opt to share or not to share. It's up to them. It's totally shall be customizable workflow because we are looking into a back-end solution. It's a platform to help the Zakat institutions. So they shall be able to have their workflow to be reflected in this platform. And then we also shall allow a third-party integration facilitated by an API. So if the Zakat institution is using some softwares to manage the Zakat or accounting softwares or whatever softwares, we can allow or we shall facilitate the link to these softwares to the platform. So these are the key principles that we decided to have. And from these key principles, we moved into the developments. So the key features that we reach once we apply these principles is that we have the ability to track the funds from A to Z. We have the ability to have a direct supervision of the transaction. Of course, the parties who will have this direct supervision are the parties chosen by the hosting institution, so they can do the verification and endorsements. And regulatory or supervisory bodies, they can also access the data directly. So this is a difference between the blockchain platforms and the traditional platforms. In the traditional platforms, you always need to allow the access, to need the help of the admin to reach the data. While here, if you verify this is a party that he has the authority to go into the data, he can directly, technically go into the data on that timely manner right away, instantly. Still, sensitive data is encrypted securely. And then we have easy integration, as we said, with other applications. So these are the key features that Zakat blockchain, ISRA Zakat blockchain platform providing, basically. On the design, so we have blockchain integration. All transactions are recorded. The donor identity are made anonymous. Transactional data can be made transparent. It's up to the hosting institution to choose the level of transparency and level of reporting, the kind of reporting will be generated from the system. So they choose what they need to disclose to the public, and then it's automatically the reports are automatically produced from the system, and everyone can see and read. Made it transparent. It's reports. So it's a multi-tenant architecture with multiple user role. So once you sign into this platform, you will have different rules. So you have a wide dashboard. In the future, the possible developments that can be done is to have this platform developed or linked into a crowdfunding platform, where it could be both way, not only back-end solution, but also you have front-end the crowdfunding platform linked, and we can have integration to local payment gateway in the future, maybe. But right now we are focusing on the back-end solution. So this is about the ISRA solution. Let me share only a few, maybe a couple of slides on general comments on the blockchain and the way forward. I think the question that everyone is asking, do we need a blockchain? Is it always good? Is it a secret recipe? Is it really a magical tool? I would say it is not, definitely. The question is, do you need a blockchain or not? Is related to really understanding the issues that you are solving and the ability of blockchain. I like really the example of bulletproof or alarm system. You know, we have this bulletproof cars, for example. We don't use them really every day. If we are not really in an insecure place, if we are not really feeling that we are a target, then we are not going into bulletproof solution. We usually, it's enough for us to have an alarm system in our cars. So this is really the difference between the traditional system and the blockchain system. In a blockchain system is like bulletproof solution. The data cannot be altered, but at the same time, it's a heavy decision. The workflow or whatever data goes to the blockchain, it will go permanent. So you need really to design it carefully. You need really to understand the limitations and the potentials. For me, I see a lot of potentials and use for Zakat institution to use Zakat. It's really a solution that can bring a lot of benefits. But the success of blockchain depends really on the design and implementation. If you have the right structure, the right design, then it will benefit a lot the Zakat institution. But if it's not the right design, then it will not really help. So this is the key for me. And in the developing process, these are like just 3 points that I think they are very important to be considered. First of all, you need to identify your use case. You really need to understand what you are trying to solve. So what are the issues, the challenges facing by the institution? Small Zakat institution will have different challenges than big one. And the Zakat authority will have a different challenges than a Zakat institution. So it depends really on the situation. It also depends on the country, the context, everything. So then you ask whether blockchain can solve these problems that you identified. What are the added value that the blockchain can bring to you? And then once you have this, then you can ask yourself whether you build your own blockchain or you use an existing one. And this decision depends on so many factors. Among them is tokenization, cryptocurrency involvement. If you are a Zakat institution in a society that really they are using cryptocurrency and it's legally accepted, you may opt to have a cryptocurrency involvement where you can also channel the Zakat using cryptos or even accepting Zakat in cryptos. This can bring also a lot of benefits globally in global channeling. But if not, then you have to be careful and not to go into this area. And then you also need to have an expertise. If you are deciding to go and develop your own blockchain, you need to ensure that your IT department has enough expertise to go into this direction. And there are so many other factors to be considered in this. And the third angle is on the design. You need to decide whether it's public, private, or federated blockchain. Each type has its own pros and cons. So for me, the level of decentralization needed is really a very big question. If you go to any blockchain solution, you need to ask or verify what kind of decentralization they are bringing. If they are saying that, okay, we have a blockchain solution where they have only 2 cloud servers, it's not really a decentralized. Who are the parties they are doing the endorsements? If they are limited parties, then is it a problem or not? You need to ask all these kind of questions. Sorry, this part is a bit of technical, but it's really important to highlight these issues. And then we need also to answer that, do we have a fixed workflow or a changing workflow? Since we are designing the system, since it's a blockchain that cannot be altered, whatever you design, it will go permanent, basically. Then if you have a really changing workflow each time, then you may need to design it differently. You need to decide what to keep out of blockchain and what to put in blockchain. So, and you need also to have a decision on whether you go into permissioned blockchain or you have a public blockchain with a consensus mechanism, and then you need to decide on the consensus mechanism. You need to ask, shall I use, for example, Ethereum platform, and what benefits can this bring? It may bring a lot of security in terms of its public blockchain, widely used, but also there are another risk involved, so let's say a price risk, because the cost, it will be linked to the cost of Ethereum, and the Ethereum, if the price goes up, then the cost will goes up. So these kind of technical questions need to be really answered carefully. Longer, okay, it's right on the time, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. So these are the view, few points that need to be considered when you design a blockchain system. And for me, again, what we need to remember, blockchain is just a name of a technology. The right implementation, the right design is really crucial here. But there are a lot of benefits that we can really get from using the blockchain for Zakat, especially that traceability and security is really needed. Transparency and disclosure is really the key to get everyone to trust you as a Zakat institution and get everyone to pay their Zakat through your platform. And the idea here is that to have a maximum ability then to really channel it to the right people and address the current issues, the poverty issue, and then you can have a lot of ability even in future to develop other things, to use an AI to have smart decisions when you do this Zakat administration work. So I think with this, I conclude my presentation, and thanks again for the organizing committee and for all attendees for listening to me. I go back to Mr. Chairman, and if there is any question, I can also surely answer, inshallah, once the chairman allows. Thank you very much.